Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's Jamie Greene, the Solar Queen, and normally I go live with a guest on Friday afternoons, but today my guest had an emergency pet situation, so we're not doing the show today, but she'll be on in July sometime. So I'm excited to have her on when her doggies are okay. So one of them is they're at the vet and they're doing all these lab work and tests because the dog is not doing well. So I'm hoping her dog is feeling much better. So I thought I would take this opportunity that I normally go live on Fridays to continue the conversation that I started yesterday live from my backyard, talking about how easy it is to maintain your solar system when you get solar, and how to clean them and when you should clean them and why it's important to clean them. And today I want to talk about the inverters and why it's important and why you should monitor your solar system's production on a daily, if not weekly basis. I'm going to pull up a true up bill too of a client of mine that her solar system, the inverter stopped working, and she didn't realize it until she got her utility bill. And then she also wasn't checking her monitoring app, and her inverter stopped working back in mid-April. So I want to talk about what happens in those situations, and then I'm going to show you guys her true up and what she's facing and why maybe her inverter stopped working. So that's what I'm going to cover on today's show. It's not my Kickstart conversation show. It's just going to be me talking about solar. So there are two different kinds of inverters that are being installed on residential homes today. The first kind is called a microinverter. And the common brand or a well-known brand for the microinverter is called Enphase. Now, there are microinverters and then there are central inverters with power optimizers. And that manufacturer, the common one, very popular, is SolarEdge. Both of them, I believe, at least SolarEdge is publicly traded. So, they're big corporations and they are publicly traded. I don't know if Enphase is. I should check and see. But SolarEdge is, and their stock has been doing very well, especially through 2020 and 2021. So if you have any questions about solar, please put them in the comments, and I will answer them as they pop up. I always love questions because I may be planning out something that I think is interesting and that people should know about when it comes to solar. But if you have questions, that makes it for such a better show when you ask questions and then we can engage. So the thing about solar systems, a lot of people get hung up on what kind of panels they're going to be in. Is panel technology, is it going to improve drastically and whatnot? I'll just address the panel situation. Panels are really, really important. There are premium panels, there are tier 1 panels, and there are tier 2 panels. I don't even touch tier 2 panels. Most homes have tier 1 panels, which mean they're highly rated, they're dependable, they're energy efficient, they have good wattage, per panel. They're going to be lasting, and they're going to be a workhorse for you in terms of the warranties and everything. They typically come with 25-year warranties on the production, and then typically 10 to 15 years for the actual panel, like the physical panel itself. And then that's for tier 1. So, and typically the solar production, the linear production of the panel, it's going to degrade every year a little bit at a time. In the first year, it's about, anywhere from 3 to 5%. And then every year after that is going to be 0.5%. So after 25 years, you're looking at about 85 to 87.5% production. So you've lost about 15 to 12.5%, depending on the panel manufacturer and what kind of panel you're going to get. When you go to the premium level, which you pay the premium price for, you're going to get a little bit better warranty on the panel. you're going to get 25 year for likely 25 year for production and 25 year for the physical parts of the solar panel. And then typically it's a little bit better degradation schedule of that panel, which is usually about 90% after 25 years. So I hope that makes sense. Every panel over time is going to degrade. That means it's going to be less efficient in the output of the solar energy that it's creating. But it's still, to go from a tier 1 to a premium panel, it's kind of a hefty price tag. But some people want that and they don't care. And so that's the kind of conversations you and I would have in a solar consultation. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was actually what's truly like kind of the heartbeat of the system, which is the inverter. So the inverter is what takes all the energy that the solar panels are creating and converting it into usable energy that runs through your home. So energy that's made from the solar panels is direct current energy, DC. And then the inverter would convert all the energy from DC into AC, which is alternating current, which is all the energy that we plug things in and everything turns on. That's alternating current. All the energy we get from the utility company is alternating current. So there's no need for inverting or converting the energy. But when you have solar, you need that conversion to happen. And for microinverters, they happen at the panel location. So every panel would have a little microinverter underneath it, and all the panels, you would have the same. So if you have 20 solar panels on your roof, you're going to have 20 microinverters. They're all going to channel together and go to a junction box that's going to then feed into your main service panel, which is going to then distribute. That's how you distribute the energy into your house. If you don't use all the energy that your solar system's creating, then it goes out to the grid, and that's net metering. So you're going to get a credit for your kilowatt hour credit that you have generated. And then when you need to use it at nighttime, you're going to debit from that. The difference with that microinverter and a central inverter with power optimizers, the power optimizers are going to go under each individual panel. So if you have 20 panels, you're going to have 20 power optimizers. All that energy stays DC. So microinverters converts it right at the panel. With a central inverter with power optimizers, the energy goes DC through the conduit to a central inverter, where it converts all the energy there at the central inverter, feeds into the main service panel, and then gets distributed. Whoops, I just hit my microphone. Distributed to your home. So that's the difference between the two major residential inverters that are used for solar systems. Central inverter with power optimizers, and then the microinverters. Most homes, I would say more and more people are starting to get microinverters. The really cool thing about microinverters is there is no single point of failure in your solar system. So if one panel and one not optimizer, but one microinverter, if one of the microinverters underneath the panel stops working, it's not going to affect the entire array of solar panels. But with a central inverter, such as with Solar Edge, the power optimizers are going to help in terms of shading or things like that. But if the central inverter, that one major hub, for whatever reason stops working, the entire system stops working. And this is why it's really, really important to check your monitoring app or your monitoring system. So you're going to log in to your monitoring, whether it's Solar Edge or Enphase. There are other manufacturers of inverters, but these are the two primary inverters that I work with. You're going to log in to your app. So like this is our app. That was yesterday's production. So you're going to always want to check and see if your system's producing. So see it's let's see. There's the day before. So that's, you can go on a weekly basis. This is the this week. Actually, yeah. So you're just going to want to check it and make sure your system's producing. If you see that your system's not producing energy, and if you're a customer of mine, you want to call me and let me know right away so that we can find out, is it a communication error? Is the inverter not working? If you know to log into Enphase and you see that one of the panels is inverter is not working, you want to call right away so that a service technician can come out and check on your inverter and your solar system. Because when your system is down, you're pulling energy from the grid. And there are some companies that provide production guarantees, but oftentimes say the system's, designed to produce 10,000 kilowatt hours. They're going to the solar companies give themselves a cushion, and it's usually a 15% cushion because they can't control weather. They can't control like fires or acts of God, things like that. And so they're giving themselves a cushion. But if the system in this example, it produced 8,400 kilowatt hours, they would owe you 100 kilowatt hours either in a credit, or like they're going to cover that part for you, or they're going to, if it's more than that, they'll likely, make it so that the system's back up to producing and meeting production. So some companies have that, and it's great. It's a nice little safety net. But when it comes to solar companies that don't have that, if your system goes down and you don't tell them for a month or 2 or 3 months because you're not monitoring your system, and they don't contact you, they don't have a production guarantee, they've given you your monitoring system for you to monitor it. So you have to take some ownership of your system to make sure it's producing, and contact me or your solar advisor, a consultant, as soon as possible. So that's very, very important to do, because now I'm going to show you quickly. Hopefully I can share this with you guys, what has happened with one of my dear customers. I feel so terrible for her. She has had her solar. Let's see. She has had her solar. I don't know if this is going to work. I can't pull it up. But what has happened is her inverter stopped working about in mid-April, but she had a leak in her house, underneath the house. The shower started leaking and there was all this water, and she lives on a hillside, and she started smelling mold. And so she was getting it like fixed, dried out and everything. They put plastic over to kind of keep the mold, and then they were drying it out. They have a basement and whatnot. They were running 3 fans a day. 3 fans a day, 24/7. And they've been running it for 2.5 months. So even if her so we're not sure, the solar company is going to go back and check on her inverter. We're not sure since they started running that fan in March, if maybe there was just so much energy pull that the inverter couldn't keep up, because it was being solar powered, but they were pulling all this energy. So we're not sure what's happening there. But her solar system stopped producing. And here's the crazy thing. I looked at her true up, which is what I was trying to show you. Her true up for May and April had 7,000 kilowatt hours on her bill for each month. So in 2 months' time, she was using equivalent to about 2 houses on average, 2 houses energy for the entire year. So imagine that. Her true up, she sent me a message. She said, Jaime, why is my PG&E bill is like $500? The reason why it's $500 is because she's got a third-party generation company. And usually with that, when you go solar, they settle up on a monthly basis. So anyone who has like Marin Clean Energy, Sonoma Clean Energy, East Bay, San Jose Clean Energy Agency, that's where you are getting your generation, your energy from a third-party clean energy source. they partner with the utility company, which is PG&E, and they're going to give you your energy, but they settle, that's clean, like either wind or solar power. They're going to charge you, though, for generation credits on a monthly basis, or generation charges on a monthly basis. They settle up with you every month, whereas PG&E settles every year. So I was trying to understand what was going on, and when she gave me her logins to her PG&E account, and then the story became clear what was happening. And when I saw that, I just, my heart sank, and I had to break the news to her, letting her know that she needs to be prepared, because her annual true up with PG&E is in July. And she said she's got she's been running these 3 fans for the last 3 months. If she continues to do that, her true up bill is going to be like $6,000. So even if her solar was working, she'd still have this, because she had this major house situation pop up. It was just such so hard, so heartbreaking. For one, she's got her solar power, her inverter stops working, and it might have been because there was just so much draw. I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait to hear back from the solar installer to see what happened, because it's not normal for the inverters to stop working. The inverters are there. They've got, for microinverters with Enphase, it's a 25-year warranty. With Solar Edge, for the central inverter, it's usually a 12-year warranty, but a lot of times people get extended warranties, so that when they know around 12, 13 years that inverter stops working, and they see a true up, they're going to need to have it replaced, and it can be replaced at no charge to them because they got the warranty. So it's one of those things where I'm not sure what happened, but it's really important to check your monitoring on a daily basis. And if you start seeing on your monthly statement a true up that's ridiculously high, it might mean that your inverter has gone out, and you need to contact your solar representative so that they can look into it and open up a ticket to get a technician out to check your inverter to see what's going on. So it's just one of those things that is a part of solar. The solar system works. It is very, like I said yesterday, it's very low maintenance, but it's very important to check your monitoring app, and make sure your system's producing. And the moment you see that you missed one day, or even 2 or 3, you need to contact your solar rep as soon as possible, so that they can get a service technician out and get your system back up and running. I don't like seeing homeowners get true ups, but they do happen. And again, like with this story of this homeowner, she has an unusual circumstance. Homeowners with solar would never dream of having 14,000 extra kilowatt hours in 2 months' time. I'm kind of surprised why the utility company didn't contact her and ask her what's going on, because they don't have a huge solar system. They weren't huge energy consumers. And then all of a sudden, for 2.5 months, they've accumulated 17 and a half, or 17,500 extra kilowatt hours. I would think that they would be wondering what's going on. So yeah, but if you do have solar and your system was designed to generate the energy that has been your historical usage, and you add consumption to your system or to your home that your system was never designed to produce, you're going to get a true up every single year, because you added, say, a wine fridge, or you added a hot tub that wasn't built into your solar system design. Hot tubs on average add about 300 kilowatt hours a month. So 300 times 12 is 3,600 kilowatt hours. That's about how much we use on an annual basis, energy that we use in our home. So a hot tub, while they're lovely, you do want to factor in that it's going to add to your consumption. And if you already have existing solar, you need to be prepared that when your true up comes, you're going to just pay the difference to the utility company. Because when you get solar, it is not unlimited solar energy. It's not unlimited energy. Some people, for whatever reason, think that, and I'm just here to tell you that is not true. So I wanted to come on talk to you about the two different kinds of inverters that are very common for residential solar: a central inverter with power optimizers. If that central inverter stops working, the entire system stops working until that inverter is repaired or fixed or replaced. If you have if you have microinverters, which just so everyone knows, microinverters are a little bit more expensive than the central inverter, but you kind of have peace of mind knowing that if one of the microinverters goes down, the whole system doesn't go down. And this is kind of, something that I, as a solar consultant, have I'm becoming more educated and familiar with in the two different kinds of inverters. But for those that are really, really, don't ever want their system to go down, microinverters might be the thing that you would want for your home. So there's pros and cons to both. But I'm kind of starting to lean towards the microinverters just because of situations like this. Even still, there's a junction box that Enphase uses, and it has a 5-year warranty on it. And if that goes down, then you're not going to be able to get power to your house either. So some things you need to think about in the consultation. It's very rare for these things to happen, but they do happen. I don't want to lead you to believe that things don't happen. Things do happen. And maybe, I don't know, we're just going to have to wait and find out from the technician to find out what caused the inverter to stop working. Was it because this house was drawing 7,000 extra kilowatt hours than normal through that inverter, or through that their main service panel and inverter and everything? Or is it just it was faulty and they need to repair it or fix it or replace it? So I wish I could have shown you guys the true up so you could see, because all of a sudden it went from 26 kilowatt hours pulled from the grid, 80 kilowatt hours pulled from the grid, negative 26 kilowatt hours sent to the grid, and then all of a sudden, bam, 3,500 kilowatt hours pulled, 7,000 the next month, and then 6,900 kilowatt hours pulled the next month. I don't ever want this to see this happen to you guys, but it obviously happens in real life, and I can't make these stories up. So that's it for today's broadcast. I just wanted to come on and continue the conversation. I posted on my Facebook stories that Oregon is now a state that I can service. So if you're in the state of Oregon, it's looking like it's mostly like Eugene, Salem, Portland, that I-5 corridor all the way out to the ocean, and then Bend, so parts of Bend and things like that. Those are areas that if you live there and you want solar, because there's a lot of sunshine in Oregon as well. Maybe not so much Portland, but it's kind of like Seattle, but still, Bend, I know Bend gets a lot of nice weather, nice sunny days. If you're interested in solar and for your home, you can message me here on Facebook. And if you're watching, on YouTube, you can send me an email at Jaime@JamieGreenTheSolarQueen.com. And just say I'm interested in solar for my home in Oregon or any state: California, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, lots and lots and lots of states, Florida, Texas, Georgia, the Carolinas, up and down the eastern seaboard. I can help you. But yes, let me know in the replay, if you're watching the replay, if you have any questions about solar. I'll come back and comment and answer your questions. Until then, everybody, I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's National Donut Day. So if you haven't had a donut and you like donuts, you should go celebrate. We did with my kids. I had to go to the doctor and get some blood drawn, and then we went to the donut shop and got some donuts because it's Friday. It's like the last day of school for everybody, although my kids are going to be doing school throughout the summer. And I know I'm probably a mean mom, but it is what it is. And then go get donuts because it's National Donut Day. So happy Friday to you all. Have a safe, fun weekend, and I'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Bye.